My baby mama tripped, she been going through my phone. Tired of me cheating, I can't leave these hoes alone. Hella pics, hella tips on my cash out. It's like, hold up a minute, every time that I'm in it, got the whole room spinning, can't explain.
Said I wound up going to the penitentiary for my part in it. That's what happened with my career. You know what I'm saying? Contractual disputes and leading into some gangster shit. And I wound up having to go to the penitentiary. You know, everybody was wondering.
Whoa. Some of y'all may not know who this is. This Big Mike, one of the best rappers to ever come out of the South. Hands down. You know, Scarface came before Big Mike. But when Big Mike came, I can't speak for what Big Mike was in other cities and states, but he was big in Detroit. He was big in Cali. He was big in Chicago. He was big in a lot of places, and a lot of y'all don't know. Like, if I ain't mistaken, he went gold. And Rap-A-Lot Records, that was their motto, which I understand from a business perspective. You print up a certain amount of CDs, and you focus on selling that certain amount of CDs, and then you move on. Could Big Mike have went platinum? I think so. Dr. Dre thought so. Suge Knight thought so. Snoop Dogg thought so. Let's run this back. Because this whole Bun B situation, I see like my YouTube page jumping because I gave my opinion on it. Do I think Bun B is a snitch? No. I do think what he did was overkill. I do think he's being a hypocrite. I do think he got away with breaking the law. And I do think what he did was spiking the ball. He already shot the guy. He beat the guy ass. He stripped him. Now his wife was traumatized, but she also saw her man in action. We'll get back to my thoughts on that situation later, because I don't want to discredit what he done. And I damn sure want to make sure he gets his respect for being a man that went right into action, no matter the cost. But this whole telling, snitching, dry snitching, it's kind of getting out of hand. And when I went to do the Bun B story, what I noticed is what telling is different in Texas. Telling in Texas is very different. But let's check out I'm not a bashful YouTube channel. So I didn't want to make a video where it seemed like I was bashing a city. Or it seemed like I was bashing a state. Because I'm not. Because these situations don't represent an entire state. But at the same time, it does represent that telling is something different in Texas. Now in my comments, I got a lot of people that's been respectful and they've been decent with their opinions, and I appreciate it. And some have offered their own personal knowledge. Somebody pulled my coattail to they say the reason Bun B stripped the guy is because UGK back in the day had a war with another one of the wards down there, and it was life loss, and Bun B was a general in that war, allegedly. Do I know this? Nah, because I didn't see it, but at the same time, it might be true. Now let's get back to Big Mike.
Said I wound up going to the penitentiary for my part in it. That's what happened with my career. You know what I'm saying? Contractual disputes and leading into some gangster shit. And I wound up having to go to the penitentiary. You know, everybody was wondering what happened to Big Mike. What happened to Big Mike? All kind of rumors going around. Man, he was on drugs. He went crazy. None of this is true. I did as much drugs as any other artist did drugs at the time. You feel me?
And that's a fact. They did put that rumor out there. I can't say who put it out there, but somebody did put that rumor out there, because make no mistake about it, Big Mike was the hottest solo rapper in the South. Hands down. Hands down. Scarface is automatically in a different class because he's Scarface and he's a storyteller. Big Mike was straight bars. Straight bars. But he had that whole Louisiana, Texas thing going on. So it was a little bit of melody in the bars. But it was straight bars.
Right? None of this is true. You feel me?
Yeah.
My record company had them in faulty. They came at me faulty.
Okay.
When they came at me faulty, I ain't go to the authorities. But when I came back at them, how they came back at me, people go to the authorities. I wind up in the penitentiary. I'm like, all right, cool. I called that shot. Feel me? I'm going to take my lick. I take my lick. I come back home. God was with me throughout the whole ordeal.
You heard what he said, right? Now, just in case you don't know the story, Big Mike at home, he got all these label offers. He wanted out of his Rap-A-Lot contract because he fulfilled the deal and he could have sold more records, but they only printed so many. So he was due money that they was withholding from him unless he signed a new contract. He said, fuck that, I ain't signing a new contract. Went to the crib, dropped the kids at the mama house. Now, I hate to be the one filling in this story, but I'ma fill in this story. He dropped the kids at the mama house. Him and his woman sitting there having a smoke, thinking about what they gonna do. He pass out, go to sleep. He hears something around his house. He gets up, smoke a square, don't see too much. He's sitting there smoking a square, and he heard something else. He go to take a move. Next thing you know, shots rang out all through his house. Had him and his woman not been trying to get some alone time, his kids would have been there. But did Big Mike call the police? No. He knew who did it. He knew what type of situation he was in. He went to them, set shit on fire, hoping they ran out. And what did they do? They called the police and told them who burned down the studio. And you may be wondering what record label he was signed to. And you guessed it. None other than Rap-A-Lot Records. I love Rap-A-Lot Records. I like Jay Prince. He's someone to look up to me. He's under 6 feet, dark skin, gets respect. I always looked up to him, always admired him. But when I finally found out the story of what happened to Big Mike, that shit crushed me. That shit crushed me. Now, if they had killed Big Mike for what he did, I wouldn't have liked that either. But I'd have understood. What I don't understand is what happened. What I also don't understand was the rumors that was put out. Because what you got to understand about Detroit is we get everybody's music. I had Jeezy's first mixtape. It was a double CD. Street Stories with Lil J, Hard Side, Soft Side. You know what I'm saying? So, and I can run through this about damn near every artist you want to talk about. I used to go to Kendrick's right there on Finkel, and Kendrick's was a part of Eddie, and Kendrick's is owned by his family, Eddie Kendrick's. They was a part of the Chitlin circuit. So how records got distributed, they had already made their own way. So no matter what record you put in your record store in your local town, we got it here too. Even if it was a bootleg. My bad. They put that rumor out that Big Mike went crazy and he was in the psych ward. They put that rumor out. I heard these rumors as a kid because I like Big Mike. Fly hoes and chains and swinging things. Just another young player having things, man. Made me want to have shit. He was in the Doggy Style videos. He was on the Chronic album. You gotta respect Big Mike. Let's get back to it.
You dig what I'm saying? And I'm here, loving my life. You feel me? Looking good, sounding good. The father, a grandfather. You feel me? So I'm blessed, man.
This Offset dude. I ain't gonna leave him out. You know, I'm just real like this, you know, because
And I cut this in because this number one is dry snitching in its finest. Because if you and Offset got a beef, why would you put it on camera? If y'all got a beef that don't nobody know about, why would you put that on camera? Why would you? And quite frankly, this is like the same thing you did to Big Mike. Jay Prince really broke my heart with this one. He's an OG. Now, I didn't got into it with OGs. There's no reason for an OG to threaten me. If he gonna do something, he can do it. But I ain't gonna say what he doing. Because as a legitimate person, I understand what he doing. And as a street guy, I really understand what he doing. But we can't be playing both. But let's listen.
Niggas be throwing rocks and hiding their hand, right? They be throwing rocks and hiding their hand. And I don't like them kind of individuals. And the truth of the matter is, one can dance and different things in front of these different cameras and all that kind of shit. And when reality, the truth of the matter is, nigga, you wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive. You know what I mean?
I ain't got no friends and
A one-on-one with a legendary Houston rapper.
Whoa. Y'all heard that shit. And that's kind of funny because Takeoff was in Houston with them. And a dice game was going on. We all saw what happened with Takeoff. And then when they did the memorial, the sign that said the Prince family was bigger than the sign that said Takeoff. And not only that, they obviously paid for the defense of the guy who killed him. Not only that, Junior walked right over Takeoff body. Now I can see if they beat the shit out of Quavo because it did appear like he started that incident, or he at least played a role in hyping it up. Him, and it was another dude they was with that whipped out his gun. But to go at Offset, who wasn't even there, who just missing this homie, who just know we was all cool with y'all, and when we come to y'all town, that y'all who we fuck with. How does this happen on y'all watch? And then you turn around and threaten the dude on $1 million worth of game, and them pussies let you do it. Now they supposed to be saving the youth and helping and all of this and that and that and this. How they let that fly? Now I can see them being scared and shaking in their boots to not want to disrespect the man. But that don't mean they couldn't have corrected the man. You know what I'm saying? This is another situation. This Zero. Now, I don't know if you listen to Zero, but you got to understand, a rapper with the name Zero, who lived on the street, been in the street, forget just a street nigga, this was a homeless kid. Worked his way up to being a famous rapper, doing his thing, taking care of his family. Let's check this out. But if you talk to him, stomp down street dude. I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I heard some of his songs. I listened to his interviews. But let's check this out.
Who says he was ambushed and attacked over the weekend.
He was.
Rapper is Zero. You see him here on the ground in what is described as a defensive position to block the blows he's taking. After that video got out on social media, Zero called me and said it was time he shared his side of the story. That story involves another legendary Houston rapper.
Now time out. I gotta give Zero his credit. He thought he was settling an issue or misunderstanding with a homie. And as soon as he turned the corner or walked out into wherever he was at, he was jumped on by 3 dudes. As you see, when he got up, he tried to get with the 3 dudes. So I gotta give him his respect. I gotta give him his accreditation on that. Getting jumped ain't cool. And in that situation or circumstance, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now let's continue from there.
Who has been known for his philanthropy and social activism, not in just Houston, but around the country. We met up with Zero at his home to talk about it. Let's get to it tonight. So, Zero, a lot of people saw the video on social media. What happened this weekend?
Well, basically, from the video, I got in a fight, an unfair fight. I got jumped coming out of my local restaurant here, walking to the car.
Now, what happened to this man is wrong. That shit was fucked up and everything else under the sun, right? But this is for sure snitching. He was involved with them guys in the streets before. He was involved with them guys in music. He got community with them guys. And he's sitting on the news talking about how something went wrong between them, whether it was recorded or not. If I was him, I'd have just sued and not said shit. I mean, I ain't gonna say don't get your paper. But look at what he doing.
Basically just got lured into an ambush. And that's the short form of what happened. You know, I walked out.
We're gonna handle our business, and we're gonna do this shit like G.
Talking about right here,
They
though.
ain't do it like this.
This is the case we've been talking about.
Oh shit. This another one. Now that's Lil Troy. Wanna be a baller. Shot caller, 20-inch blades, only Impala. Caller, get laid tonight. Swisher roll tight, got sprayed. I hit the highway. That Lil Troy. You know he's certified.
All motherfucking day. All the hype about Mr. Scarface. He's on some motherfucking indictment papers, right? Now check this bullshit out.
Scarface,
We're gonna just turn the motherfucking page, right? Turn the motherfucking page. Just look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. On February 22nd, 1999, a confidential source and an undercover agent were introduced to an individual who later identified as George Wyson Simmons. The confidential source earlier on that day met with Brad Terrence Jordan at his residence located at 12618 Waterside Way, Houston, Texas. Jordan is recording artist for Rap A Lot Records label. The confidential source stated,
Type that shit up so y'all can see this whole
Now this Scarface. Now what you may not know about Scarface and Lil Troy is Scarface was rapping for Lil Troy before he was rapping for Lil J. I don't know. Short niggas must run it down there in Texas. I got to fly down there. I might be king. Just a little humor, you know what I'm saying, for on the height tip. Humor on the hype. Humor on the height. But dig what Scarface had to say about Lil Troy. And let's not forget this nigga TT Naughty, the dumbest criminal in America. But before we get to him, Scarface and Troy, them two respected OGs. Willie D cool with both of them. And they both sitting there accusing each other of telling. So my question is telling just accepted in Texas? Or is it a category type of thing? Or is everybody lying on everybody? Or is all of that shit getting swept under the rug? Because the funny thing about Texas is or these little clips that I done put together, any rapper from any other city or state would have been done over. They keep rolling. Now this drug addict right here, he was a fucking YouTube sensation. And I knew he was gonna crash and burn because he was too much to the left and too much to the right, depending on who he was talking to. And that's too hard to sustain. You can't stick and move with your arms like this. You just can't do it. But let's check out Dope Fiend. Oh man, Dope Fiend Daryl. I had a lot of hope for this dude. Even though I recognized that he was gonna crash and burn, I still was like, maybe he can fly the plane, but...
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I ain't got nothing to say. They watching you, fam. Mm-hmm.
Emotional testimony today from one of the biggest names in Houston music, rapper Bun B, on the stand describing a home.
Now we get to my man's Bun. My man's Bun. My man's Bun. First off, Bun B might be one of the best rappers ever out of Texas. He might be better than Big Mike. He might be better than Scarface. That goes without question. Let's get that clear.
Asian that targeted both him and his wife. It happened in 2019. The attacker now being sentenced for the crime. Sherman Chow in the courtroom this afternoon.
Whose legal name, Bernard Freeman. Oh, there, the prosecution closing out for today. They'll resume court tomorrow. Rapper Bun B, who...
Now this what bothers me as a father. This young man been in jail for this crime since 2019, right? But look at his face. Look at his face. I could tell two things about this young man. One, he's not all there mentally. And his mother may have been drinking while she was pregnant. Two, this guy's young as fuck. He can't be no older than 25 in this picture. I don't think he's older than 23, which would make him a 17, 18-year-old when he did what he did. Should he really be going to jail for the rest of his life? Do you know what it feel like to be a 19-year-old and finally realize your parents been doing more than they should have and your daddy or your mama tell you no? And now you don't have no money in your pocket? No gas in your car? Or they might have took your car. And they ain't make you get a job before, but they talking about a job now. Do you know what that does to a 18, 19-year-old brain whose frame of reference is fucking zero? It had you doing some ignorant shit. It had me doing some ignorant shit. I'm willing to bet my next paycheck it had Bun B doing some ignorant shit. Otherwise, how could he rap about the shit that he rap about? Now, do this young man deserve to go to jail? Yeah. Yeah, he do. But should he spend 40 years in that bitch? Hell no, man. He didn't touch a kid. He didn't come in a house shooting. That's why I say it's overkill. Overkill. Me personally, if I'm not gonna kill somebody, I'm not gonna play with their life.
His legal name is Bernard Freeman, testified first today about the 2019 attack in his and Chevalier Freeman's Third Ward home. The couple have been married now for some 20 years, and 25-year-old DeMonte Alief Jackson pled guilty to aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon and burglary with intent to commit.
Now, dog, the man, I don't know if you heard it, the boy pled guilty. And the crimes he pled guilty to was enough to get him a for sure 15 years. That's enough to get his mind right, still be able to come back out and have a life. Be an upstanding citizen. He already pled guilty. He was already going to jail. Bun B and his wife in their 50s. They might be dead in 15 years of natural causes. Of course. 15 years a long time. He already been in jail for 5.
Another felony. This is now the punishment phase. The Freemans testifying that Jackson pushed his way into their home and held Mrs. Freeman with a gun at point-blank range. She was so distraught at seeing her attacker in court this afternoon, the judge called a recess. So Jackson listened to this testimony from a different room.
He put the gun in my eye, in between my eyes, and it was cold. Yes. He said, give me everything you got. Time in the penitentiary so he could see how it feels to get robbed of your freedom.
Now, I'm a little lost. Because I don't know how you go from crying hysterically like that to your voice. Your voice being straight. Because you might can clean up the tears. But once you done broke down, man, it'll take hours for your voice. Once you break down for real, it might take an hour or two for your voice to come back right. But I ain't gonna say she ain't traumatized. I ain't gonna say that. But what I am gonna say is nigga ain't no way in hell I'd have put my woman through that. Ain't no man about to ever make no woman around me feel that way. Period. I'm not even gonna do it. She covered her face and pointed at the nigga. Some of y'all don't listen to Bun B like I do. But he's a college professor. He's a philosopher. I'm a historian. Bun B's more like a philosopher. And he got this philosophy of whatever we think about and talk about that we don't want to deal with or be around, we turn it into a cycle of our life by talking about it, looking at it, and paying it attention.
Then later, as defense witnesses were called, Jackson's father was on the stand, and that is when Jackson had an outburst, and the second recess was called. Mrs. Freeman, or as rap fans know her, Queenie, spoke about the psychological damage that she suffered. She says she has never returned to that house, not to pick up a shoe, not to pick up a purse. The couple has since moved to Fort Bend and has private security.
And that's the thing right there. That was a fucked up situation that not only y'all survived, but y'all elevated it after. Nobody can put a price tag on y'all trauma. But let's be clear here. He broke in y'all house, violated y'all. He got his ass whooped. He got stripped. He got shot. And he going to jail. Not only that, y'all was able to afford to be out of that house and get in a new house and get private security. Going to a nigga's sentencing that already pled guilty, that you know for sure in the state of Texas about to get 15, 20 years, was overkill. Was Bun B a snitch? No, but he is a motherfucking hypocrite. A big time hypocrite. Big time. That's Bun B right there. And you heard what he said. He rapped about that shit like he did it. I believed he did it. And where my problem come in at, what makes him a hypocrite, is I was a young nigga listening to this song. And it was in my mind that if I can't get it no other way, this might be an option. Some of my other homies who I'ma leave their names out of this, they actually made a career out of kicking doors. We out.